Fever pull it out by 1 point. It was an ugly, ugly game at times for the Indiana Fever, but they got the win. They needed this win. They were trying to avoid being swept by the...
So, the Fever just beat the Sparks. And Caitlin Clark? She absolutely did not hold back after that wild finish in LA. Odyssey Sims hit the dagger. Aliyah Boston was a beast in the paint, and the Fever just kind of dragged a messy game into a super sweet win over the Sparks. Was it ugly? Yeah, for sure. But here's the thing. It was still a win. Absolutely.
Fever dub! Bow, bow, bow! Hell yeah, hell yeah!
And Clark's reaction after the buzzer, that really said it all. She was loud, she was proud, and honestly, a little spicy. It's year 2 for her. And look, the standard is definitely higher now. She's expecting more. So, what was your favorite moment from that game? Was it Odyssey's clutch 3, Boston just dominating inside, or maybe Clark's fiery post-game reaction? Because honestly, this game looked like it was literally stitched together with duct tape and some strong coffee. The second quarter just crawled by. Then the third? Even worse. Both teams were missing easy layups like crazy. Seriously, at a rate that should just be illegal in a professional gym. But then, when it really mattered most, Odyssey Sims became the calming presence, the adult in the room. And Aliyah Boston? She turned into a full-on forklift. And get this, the Fever walked out of LA with a 1-point win that honestly felt like 10.
We're a good group, like from the coaching staff to the ownership to my teammates. Like everybody is so genuine. Everybody pours into each other more than I've ever seen or any other team I've ever been on. And that speaks volumes.
Let's start with Odyssey though, because, good Lord, she absolutely earned it. So, when that score read 74-71 and the air in the arena felt super heavy, she just didn't blink. It was catch, rise, splash. That 3 wasn't just cute, it was absolutely stone cold. And then later, she got downhill, used the glass, and made one of those no-no-yes buckets. You know, the kind that just shuts up a crowd instantly.
And the kick out Sims. Sims in the paint. The runner good.
Listen, say whatever you want about shot count or trying to make the box score look pretty. She flat out took the ball, and she took the moment. And if you're going to be mad about shot volume when the scoreboard is screaming doubly, honestly, that's just a you problem.
We're a good group, like from the coaching staff to the ownership to my teammates. Like everybody is so genuine. Everybody pours into each other more than I've ever seen or any other team I've ever been on. And that speaks volumes.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Look, it was just an off night for some, and that happens, right? When your main scorer isn't hitting, someone else has to step up and fight that fire. And Sims totally did. And no, that absolutely doesn't mean Kelsey and Odyssey can't play together. They're actually the same kind of player. Tough guards who live in attack mode. Some nights, it's Kelsey, but tonight, it was Odyssey. That your turn, my turn thing can be a little annoying, sure. But on a gritty night when nobody could finish a layup, you've just got to take whichever turn ends with the ball actually going through the net.
Oh, and there's Lexi Hall. You can see both of her eyes.
Now, let's talk about Aliyah Boston. Her first 5 shots, total brick parade, but after that, man, she went 11 for 13 and just had a full-on grown-up takeover, 22 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, and enough body blows to turn the Sparks' front line into total spectators. She sealed deep, she finished through wrists and elbows, and she tracked misses like she had a metal detector at the beach. That's the version of Boston the Fever needs every single night. Decisive, mean, and just bored by single coverage. When Boston sets that tone, everyone else just falls into place. The box outs get cleaner, the closeouts look sharper, and the spacing finally gets some room to breathe. And hey, Lexi Hull totally deserves some flowers too. She's playing with 2 black eyes, still closing out, still cutting, still getting a hand in those passing lanes. Talk about tough. You know, you could totally see the spark Lexi Hull gives them. even on a night where her shot wasn't really singing. Remember that pass that got deflected, then picked up by Lexi, and she just took off? And that charge she almost got whistled for? Stephanie White made a massive challenge there, and that review kept a starter on the floor and totally flipped the momentum at just the right time. Credit where it's due, White absolutely pressed the right button there. Aerial powers also hit some big threes, exactly when they needed them. Not perfect overall, maybe, but the timing was pure chef's kiss. Natasha Howard, she didn't quite have it tonight, and that's fine. She still worked the glass, she battled length, and she did all that grunt stuff that doesn't usually trend. And Bretter, she did her job, and most importantly, she didn't hurt them. Sometimes, for a rotation player, no disasters is the best compliment. Tonight, that really mattered. Now let's talk about the mess. Because oh man, it was messy. The Fever missed layups like they were actually allergic to the square. The Sparks kept taking turns just throwing the ball away. For really long stretches, it felt like everyone was playing in wet socks. But listen, you know who wins in mud? The tougher team. The one that's totally cool with a 13-11 quarter and still talking on defense. The one that just accepts, hey, we can't shoot right now, so we better rebound and guard like rent is due. And that, my friends, was Indiana tonight. And Caitlin Clark? She definitely wasn't sitting quietly, just clapping twice. No way. She was loud, she was animated, and that's absolutely on brand for year 2. She was yelling for pace when they got bogged down. She kept barking matchups from the sideline. She even told teammates to chill with the ref talk before their wallets got lighter. After the buzzer, her face just said it all. Relief, pride, and just enough salt to let folks know that standards are not dropping. This isn't just a rookie glow anymore, she's a second-year star. And she's got a bigger voice. She expects more. And she makes sure everyone knows it. That's the part haters usually miss. Leadership doesn't just vanish because you're not the one hitting the game winner. Clark sets the tempo. Even from the bench, she's telling them what to run, who to screen, where to flow when the first action dies. Her sideline coaching? It came with receipts tonight. When the Fever tried to brute force drives into traffic, you could actually see her chopping the air. Like kick, swing, second side. And sure enough, the crunch time dagger 3 came off a clean second side touch after the first action got jammed. That, my friends, is culture. Okay, let's get some Sparks notes because context always matters. Azura Stevens was a real problem on the glass, and in that short roll. And Cameron Brink's minutes, those were definitely swing minutes. Her length changed Indiana's angles and forced a bunch of ball fakes. The Fever still figured it out though by putting the Sparks in scramble mode. Late shot clock, get it to Boston early, or let Sims turn the corner and force weak side help. It's simple math, force 2 to the ball and play behind it. Ugly, sure, but super effective. Efficient, well, let's just say politely there was a lot of let them play energy out there. Kelsey Mitchell absorbed enough forearms to fill a whole film room. Clark even told teammates to save the tweets and fines for tomorrow. And Sydney Coles, she cracked a joke about already being fined and somehow made half of WNBA Twitter spit out their water. Funny? Oh, very. Helpful? Also yes, because that tension was really close to boiling. The Fever won by just not letting the whistle become the story. A few coaching tweaks are worth noting here too. Coach White shortened the rotation, which is probably going to annoy some folks, especially with Michaela Timpson and Chloe Bibby getting DNP CDs. But in a street fight game like that, coaches chase trust. White leaned on players who were talking on defense and really getting bodies on bodies. Plus, she cut some of the cute sets and just leaned into empty corner pick and roll with a shooter, lifted weak side. That leads to smarter reads and fewer turnovers. When nothing's falling, fewer choices actually help. One more thing about Boston, and this is huge. Her screens, broadcast people never really hype it up. But she flipped screens at the last second and just trapped the Sparks guard right on Odyssey's hip. That half step, that's the difference between a contested pull-up and the exact rhythm 3 that totally changed everything. Bigs who screen with purpose win ugly games. She absolutely did. But now, about that winning ugly label. You know what? Embrace it. Last year, the Fever would have just lost these games. A clunky whistle, a missed layup. 2 empty trips, and boom, game gone. This year they're collecting those loose balls, making those annoying free throws, and squeezing out a 1-point win on the road. That's pure growth right there. Pretty wins are for highlight reels. Ugly wins, those build seed line. Let's zoom out for a second. The Fever are building habits that actually last, even when the shots aren't falling. Rebound as a gang. Hit the floor first. Don't stare at refs. Don't switch just because you're bored. Talk through screens. If you want a clean slogan for tonight, it's this. No hero ball, only hero plays. Sims hitting that big three, hero play. Boston sealing deep, taking the bump and finishing, hero play. Lexi Hull closing space with a face that looks like it went 3 rounds with a heavy bag, hero play. Now to the part everyone really wants to hear. What did Caitlin not hold back on? 2 things, standard and expectation. She called the offense out for literally walking the ball up after makes. She pressed that pace button over and over. She barked for early entries to Boston, instead of holding the ball for 5 seconds and letting the help defense get set. And she went straight to Odyssey at the horn, pointed to her temple, then her chest. Translation, smart and brave. Keep both. That's not fluff. That's a star sharpening another star. Plus, there's a playoff angle here too. The Fever absolutely needed this win to keep control of their spot, and tiebreaker math. Beating the Sparks in LA when your second leading scorer is cold, that's a seed changer. It also sends a massive message to the locker room. Their identity isn't about cute shots anymore. It's about edge. If Clark returns to a team that is already defending, rebounding, and closing games, the runway is going to get very short for whoever draws them in the playoffs. Quick hits from the game. Turnovers. Indiana turned chaos into 23 points, and that was the difference when the layups were going missing. Second chance points. Boston and company just punished ball watchers. Nobody leaked out early. That's a winning detail. Free throws. In a brick fest, freebies are currency, and the Fever collected just enough in late game calm. Sims looked like she just ordered the moment off a menu. Zero panic. Clean footwork. Clean release. For those wanting shiny numbers, fine. Boston's 22-11 tells part of it. But her screen quality and deep seals were louder than the points. Sims' line pops, but her decisions after the catch, shot, drive, kick are why it worked. This didn't hold back from Clark. Wasn't about a stat line, it was pure accountability. She's in year 2 now. The bar is higher, her voice is stronger, and the excuses, they're fewer. And that's a good thing. Final thought on Sims, every team needs a fearless guard who treats pressure like a snack. She gave them that tonight. Final thought on Boston, every contender needs a big who deletes second possessions. She gave them that. Final thought on Clark, every franchise needs a star who demands more from everyone, even after a win. She gave them that loudly. So you can call it ugly if you want, call it messy, call it whatever makes you feel better. Indiana will just call it another win. And at the end of the day, when the standings drop, only one thing truly matters. The Fever are still climbing, and Caitlin Clark did not hold back on letting everyone know that this bar is only getting higher. Ugly game, beautiful finish. Odyssey hit the shot, Boston brought the muscle, and Caitlin, she just raised the standard. That's a grown-up win on the road. Return? Who gets your game ball and why? Drop it in the comments. Smash like if you love winning nasty. Subscribe for more Fever breakdowns, clips, and post-game heat. It's year 2. Caitlin isn't here for cute. She's here for wins.